Math 3, Lesson Summary Video. Would you like to try a sample? This lesson is a Develop Understanding task, which is meant to introduce you to a concept, but not necessarily finalize rules or strategies. The purpose of this lesson is to understand and identify different methods of sampling and how randomness is achieved. In Lesson 4, Statistical Studies, we learned that different types of studies allow you to make different conclusions. We learned that sample surveys allowed you to generalize findings to the broader group. You've probably heard it many times before. Survey results show that 54% of Americans believe that. Blah, blah, blah. You're sure that you didn't participate in the survey, and neither did anyone you know. And yet, the researchers claim that the survey represents the beliefs of all Americans. How can this be possible? In this task, we'll explore how statistics allow us to draw conclusions about an entire group without actually working with the entire group. Sometimes the results make sense, and other times you might think that they just can't be right. We will learn how to make judgments about statistical studies based on the methods that have been used. First, we need to get our terms straight. When we talk about the entire group that we are interested in, that is called the population. When some members of the group are selected to represent the entire group, that is called a sample. The thing we are interested in knowing about the population is the parameter of interest. Look at the situations in your workbook and identify the population, the sample, and the parameter of interest on your own. There are lots of different ways that a sample can be chosen from a population. Some ways result in a random sample, and some do not. Here are 6 different methods for choosing a sample. Simple random sample. In this case, each individual is chosen entirely by chance, and each member of the population has an equal chance or probability of being selected. This can be achieved by assigning each member of the population a number and using a random number generator to select numbers from the group. It could also be achieved by putting all the members of the population's names into a hat and drawing names. Systematic random sample. Individuals are selected at regular intervals from the sampling frame, or a list of the entire population. For example, if the school has a list of all the students in the school and chooses every 5th student on the list to survey, or a store chooses every 100th customer that comes through the line to give a survey. Stratified random sample. In this method, the population is first divided into subgroups, called strata, who all share a similar characteristic. It is used when we might reasonably expect the parameter of interest to vary between the different subgroups, and we want to ensure representation from all of the subgroups. Some examples of strata might be to divide the population into men and women, or to divide the population of the school into freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. The sample is then obtained by taking equal sample sizes from each stratum. In stratified sampling, it may also be appropriate to choose non-equal sample sizes from each subgroup in order to proportionally match the makeup of the population. A cluster random sample. In a clustered random sample, subgroups of the population are used as the sampling unit, rather than individuals. The population is divided into subgroups, known as clusters, which are then randomly selected to be included in the sample. Examples of this may be dividing the population into towns and then randomly selecting towns to be in the sample. Everyone in the towns selected would be included. The first 4 methods of sampling listed here would all result in random samples. These would allow you to generalize your results to the entire population. The following 2 methods do not result in random samples. This means there could be some bias that could cause some lurking variables, and you could not make a generalization about the population as a whole. A convenience sample. Convenience sampling is perhaps the easiest method of sampling, because participants are selected based on availability and willingness to take part. An example would be to stand at the entrance to school and ask the first 25 people to walk up. A volunteer sample. A voluntary sample is made up of people who self-select into the survey. Often, these folks have a strong interest in the main topic of the survey. An example might be the radio station taking a survey over the air of which restaurant is everyone's favorite and posting a survey on their website. People have to choose to go to the website and answer the survey on their own. Usually people with strong feelings about one of the choices are the people who answer. Now that you have been introduced to the different types of sampling, look at the different situations in your workbook and identify which type of sampling is being used in situations A through O.